رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المبين وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. Please recite الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the chapter Rum, verse number 21, states that, and one of his signs is that he created mates for you from yourselves, that you may find rest in them, and he put between you love and compassion. Most surely there are signs in this for a people who reflect. When we talk about the marriage life, we have a number of discussions. Definitely marriage, marital life, family life is not something which we have skills of in our innate nature. Yes, we have tendencies, we have abilities, we have needs in our physics and our spiritual aspect as well, but we need more practices. We need to educate ourselves what to be done in our marriages. So that's why we always insist on this aspect of marriage, where we shall get the education and especially the practical skills how to manage our lives, how to manage our marriage lives. So one of the very important discussions that we have in marital life is the distribution of the roles in the family. So today's discussion, very brief discussion that we have over here, will be concentrated on the same topic. When we are referring to the history of Islam, we see after the marriage of Lady Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha, who was the only daughter of Prophet Muhammad, Prophet of Islam, when she got married with Imam Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, after a time they went to meet Prophet Muhammad to ask something, and the discussion was to ask assistance to distribute their roles in their family life. And this act and this practice of Lady Fatima al-Zahra and Imam Ali was not done because they could not distribute the roles. It is due to convey this message and this lifestyle to us, that we shall take lessons from this same incidents for our marriage lives. So we see at that moment our Prophet divided and distributed the roles by saying that all the affairs and works of outside of the house is in the hands of Imam Ali, and the works that are specified for house is in the hands of Lady Fatima. Yet again we see in a number of other ahadith when Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, when he explains the relationship between Lady Fatima Zahra and Imam Ali, he explains that Imam Ali used to work at home as well. He used to collect the wood sticks for fire, wash them and prepare them for fire, for example. He used to clean the house. He used to prepare the sufra for food, for example. These are the examples that we have in the riwayat, in the narrations that we have in our compilations of ahadith. So the conclusion that we can take from over here is that we have three types of roles in our family life. The first type of role is something which is specified and dedicated for women, for wife of the house. The second type of role is dedicated and specified for the husband, the man of house. And the third type of roles is the common one. The roles which are common between wife and husband. So definitely, when we are referring to the traditional method of living and lifestyle of living, in the history we see that in the majority of the cases women were inside house, and the roles were very much normal for them to be at house and take care of all the roles which are there for house. I'll present some of the examples too. But in today's world, when we see change in this regard, when we see the lifestyles are somehow different from the traditional ones, we see that women also started working outside of house. So the problem that we have is, let's suppose there is a wife who is working outside of house as well, and then she is coming to house, and then after finishing the first job, she is starting the second job, which is taking care of the family matters, taking care of the children, taking care of the food, cooking, kitchen, etc. And having two works in the same day, let's say all the days, this is very important, because maybe because I'm sitting on minbar right now, many of the things cannot be said from this point, but these things should be discussed in detail. I don't know, majority of us can easily relate to this fact that this is the biggest or the major cause for separations nowadays. What is that? After having two works, definitely this is a human being. They will get tired. They will get weaker day by day from the physical aspect as well as the spiritual aspect. Finally, they will not have any interest in the sexual activities, which is a part of marriage. And this is the major cause for the separations. It started somewhere else, when we did not divide and we did not distribute the roles of family, and it ended up in somewhere else. And again, sometimes we cannot find what was the crux of the problem, why this happened. So we have to look very carefully from the very beginning that what are the skills, and we shall ponder upon them, of which the very important one is the distribution of roles. So now, since we are having different kind of lifestyle right now, so we have to be very careful for the how we divide the roles between us. According to a study, 20% of the distributions that are being done between the housewife and the husband are not based on justice. So there is a distribution of roles, but it's not based on justice. So basically, number two, the distribution shall be based on justice. Justice does not mean it shall be based on equality. Definitely we have differences, and there shall be distribution of the roles based on the abilities that we have. A man cannot give birth to a child. So definitely this role and this part of the family life should be given to women. And when we are giving this role to women, definitely there shall be another parallel role for the same purpose, which is being given to man. So we have a list of roles over here. These roles are suggested roles. Definitely there can be some changes in the roles as well. Like to make the shoppings, to provide all the needs from outside of the house, it is a role for husband. The works which needs the physical power, the heavy works that we have, this is the responsibility of the husband. Taking care of son or sons, it is the responsibility of the husband, because many things are there in relation to son which cannot be taken care of by women. Then according to ahadith, it is suggested for men to prepare the sufra as a part of works inside the house. Supervision of children outside the house is a responsibility of man. And yet again, weekly cleanliness, to help and assist in cleaning the house weekly or occasionally, let's say. These are some examples for the responsibilities and roles for man. Wife, internal management of house. Many things are there. Taking care of daughter, educating them. Daily cleanliness and daily management. And also it is suggested to cook as well, which is a role traditionally for women. Giving birth to child and the efforts being done after that. These are the specified roles for women. Common rules. The same role of cooking and preparing food can be considered as a common rule. Sometimes we are creating a type of mentality where we see some sentiments behind every role. That man cannot be someone who prepares the food. But we have to go forward from this sort of mentality and go forward to have the common activities together. Then we have the tarbiyah, upbringing of children, which is also a common role for husband and wife. So these are some of the examples. What we have over here, lesson number one that we can take from this hadith is that sometimes, so it's a very specific suggestion for people who are getting married to prepare a list of every role that you have in your house. Then distribute it between you. Let's say the man is taking the initiative, between you and your wife. Distribute the roles of man, distribute the roles of woman, and then have the common ones as well. After a time, have a meeting, have a sitting, have a gathering, and analyze the roles, whether you are feeling satisfaction or not. Lesson number two from the same hadith. If you feel, or it is suggested even if you not feel this, the situation right now is to, like maybe I'm coming to a point where I ask the score. So The second lesson, so please pay attention to me because I'm having very much attention to your activities over here. Second lesson that we take from this incident, this hadith specifically, it is to refer to a learned person. Because Imam Ali and Lady Fatima Zahra, being that person, having that personality, they refer to Prophet Muhammad to ask what shall be done in this regard. So basically, it is a lesson for us. Whenever I said learned person, that person can be one of the parents, can be a Maulana, can be an Alim, and can be a person who is having the knowledge of psychology. To refer to them and take assistance to distribute the roles. And this is how you can find that relax that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has from one of the purposes of marriage is that. Point number 2, lesson number 2 is seek spirituality in the roles that you have. Sometimes if the marriage is based on the physical aspects, definitely physical aspects are not mortal, are not eternal. After a time, if the marriage is based on the physical aspects are going to be changed. So the moment that change starts, that is the moment you will start finding difficulty having the family relationship. But when you are finding the spiritual aspects in your life, in your marriage life, the spiritual aspect shall be there even if the physical aspects are not. And this point has another aspect as well. Finding spiritual aspects needs to have the spiritual life as well. So definitely it is our responsibility to create and to work on our spiritual aspects as well, to let the other spouse to find the spirituality in myself. So this is another thing. Find spirituality in your life. Be a spiritual person in your life. You know, sometimes we only change the names. Sometimes, and nowadays you see, meditation is something which you cannot separate from the lives of people. What is this meditation? This is a source for their releasing their stress, their depression, finding themselves, etc., etc. This is another word, another way to express that they need spirituality. But since they denied this fact in some days, in some years back, they cannot accept their fault over here. So that's why they are finding new names for that. Meditation. So definitely spirituality is something which we need in our roles. For this purpose, I would suggest to go through the riwayat and narrations that we have for the bounties and benefits and significance of the roles. Like what are the sawabs for preparing the food in the house, for helping your wife in the house, for helping the kids in the house, like upbringing of the kid, etc. This is how you easily can relate to the spirituality in your roles. And final point that we have over here in relation to roles is the punctuality. In order to be very punctual in relation to my time as well, this is something which we need in our life. If you want to have the specific roles in our lives, you have to be very punctual in relation to the roles. So first, define the roles. Second, find the spirituality in your roles. Number 3, be very punctual for your roles. How you can get punctual? Have specific timings and gatherings and settings for family. Sitting and gathering with the family does not mean to have a TV in front of you. It does not mean to have mobile in your hands. It does not mean to have food together. Food is another step. Finding time with your family means a meeting without any agenda except the family. Sit and talk with them. Discuss the issues, discuss the problems, feel the sentiments, ask the feelings. Ask about yourself, what do you feel about me? What do I feel about you? Have the gatherings for foods as well, step number 2. Do the works together in the house, step number 3. And take time to rest and relax. This is also another thing that we face nowadays. We witness that we have changed our system, our mechanism for the rest, let's say the sleep, relaxation in our life, which is causing harm for our physical and spiritual life. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us tawfiq, that we become able to distribute the roles in our families and be the ideal person in the family that He wants us to be. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.